And I had this question in my mind that what is this thing that I'm fearing?
Yeah.
Is it something that I've seen on Fear Files and Ahat? Is it something that I've heard from my friends? Is it something what I've heard from my uncles and grandparents? It is something that wears a white sari. It's
Yeah.
something that has inverted legs, has long hair and long nails.
So from that research thing, you started overcoming the fear.
Yes,
Yeah.
I started knowing the unknown, and like I said, I started talking to a lot of people and everything, and that was my way of getting rid of the fear because as I was trying to know the unknown,
Yeah.
the darkness in me, which was causing me to fear the darkness outside, it started, releasing itself, started receding and all. And that's like our mantra kind of,
Yeah.
is that no proof is required for a believer and no proof is enough for a non-believer.
Hello guys, welcome to the Haunted Show. I am your host Darshan. I am here with more intense and scary stories. Sarbajeet Mohanty. Thank you sir for coming here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much.
So what kind of gadget you use while investigating?
Yeah, so we use a lot of gadgets actually, and they are important because, like I said, we are investigators and we have to investigate every phenomena that is happening out there. Now, just to give you an idea, all the gadgets we use are kind of documenting some change in the environment. Because at the end of the day, that's what happens when. In our term, in our parapsychological term, we don't call them ghosts or spirits, but we call them energies.
Okay.
So if there is a presence of energy, there is a change, and even that is true for human beings as well. For example, if you are sitting here, you are kind of giving a different kind of pressure to the air that is here. So you are releasing a certain kind of
Yeah.
air pressure to this
Yeah.
particular area. There is a particular change in the humidity as you are talking, as we are discussing. Same thing also happens for spirits.
Yeah.
So for example, we use this device called EMF sensor. Now EMF stands for electromagnetic field. Now this particular device is set to, as per the theory, it is set to detect any change in the electromagnetic field of the surrounding. Now if an energy, what the spirits basically, if they are coming in contact with Earth's electromagnetic field, there will be a fluctuation because two energies, when they come around, there will be a fluctuation. What our devices does is it captures that fluctuation. So that's why we use EMF sensor. We also use EVP recorder. EVP stands for electro voice phenomena. Now in electro voice phenomena, what happens is, so basically, when we are, a spirit is trying to communicate with us, or spirit is trying to give out the answers to the questions we are asking, we believe, and it has been theorized, that the spirits are talking in a range that is not audible to the human ears.
Yeah.
And because of that reason, we need sensitive recorders to record their voices, and those recorders are EVP recorders.
Yeah.
Then we also use motion sensors. Motion sensors detect any kind of motion. We use full spectrum cameras. Now the normal cameras generally that people use only allow certain number of lights spectrum into it. The Vivgear, basically what the human eyes can see. But the cameras we use, called the full spectrum cameras, kind of allows all the lights inside it, including the infrared light. So that just helps us in seeing other spectrum of light if there is a manifestation by the spiritual world.
Yeah.
So, like this, we use a lot of other things. We have this EDI meter. EDI basically detects, EDI stands for Environmental Detection Instrument.
Yeah.
So, any change in the environment, air pressure and humidity, it is going to detect and it is going to let us know. But one thing that the gadget doesn't do is it doesn't capture ghosts or spirits,
Yeah.
as people think it to be. All these gadgets are used for documenting things. They are documented. Every needle as it blinks, we see कि कितना changes हुए हैं, क्या होता है, क्या नहीं होता है. So the gadgets play a very important role because they just help in concluding or debunking very scientifically if a place is haunted or not.
So you talk about that recorder. So do we hear that clear noise, or it's only here over the frequency?
No, actually we hear proper voices. Catherine. That's something one that you are looking for.
Catherine.
So I sometimes, when I do these sessions, they are called EVP sessions.
Okay.
And the point is, we, for example, if it is me or anyone from my team is asking a question, the point is, we have to let it record basically. So for example, I happen to ask if there is a female here with me, and can you just come and let me know your name. And the recorder is still going on, it's recording whatever I just asked, and we have to give a pause of 5-10 minutes, and once that is done, we stop the recording and we replay it. And during that session of finding out if we have captured anything, we have sometimes captured some amazing things. I remember particularly I was using this gadget that is, like I mentioned, the EDI along with the EVP recorder, and I happened to ask this question: if there is any this particular question only, if there is any female, as we have heard about this particular place, can you just come and let me know your name? And sometimes it's very clear, sometimes it's like a fumble noise coming from something, but you could recognize कि ये अजीब सा था. It's very very much evident what you capture. Now as I'm asking this question, the EDI blinks. So EDI has this blue color light, and if there's a change in whatever environmental thing, it will glow to blue. And it glows blue completely, and I have no idea that I've recorded something. Then I pause the recording and I replay it, and there's this very soft fumbling female voice that has been captured, which if we timestamp, then it is exactly during that period when the EDI glows. So it's like the spirit actually came in and it answered, and because of that I also captured an EVP, but I also saw a change in the EMF sensor. So yeah, these things happen, and there are also been times where we have got complete proper names of the entities. We were investigating this place in Mathiran, this abandoned house, and Pooja was doing an experiment called the Estes experiment. And as I was asking question, I happened to ask how many spirits are here, and instantly Pooja says 6. So Pooja just hears the word 6.
How many of you are here?
6.
And how did you die? And we get the word underground. And were you dumped underground? Yes. Were you murdered? Yes. So we are getting like complete proper replies to the question that I was asking. So yeah, it's a combination of both, and there are categories to it. If a voice is very much audible, then it is called a class A EVP, as in any human beings can just listen to it and say, oh, this is an EVP. But if it needs any tweaking, any editing, any enhancement, then it comes under class B EVP. But if an audio file is, you cannot recognize, but you just know, something must have been recorded, then that is class C and kind of not recognized in the paranormal field. So that's how the EVP recordings and sessions go in our field.
So you mentioned these generations gadget and all. So there are another forms like planchette and all. Is that real or?
Yeah, no, so planchette is still very real actually. Very real as in very much relevant in today's time also. So planchette or the Ouija board as they say. Again, I think it's a product of the horror movies that we have watched. But there is some truth to it, of course. There's some truth to it. Why? Is because, and we believe that, firmly believe that, I personally believe that to call a spirit, you don't need a piece of cardboard or wood. So the spirits are everywhere. They're here right now, probably they're right outside this building. They can be anywhere, and they're always listening when we're talking to them. So right now, as I'm sharing about them, there's a high chance they are listening. That okay, this guy is talking about us. So to call them, and I strongly recommend that no one should do this. But to call a spirit, you just have to stand and call out that if there is anyone, just talk to me. And they'll just listen, they will listen to you. That's how it happens. But the major thing that people don't get and this is because of the adventure or the movie that they have watched, is when you are calling someone like this, it's like you are calling a random human being in a marketplace. Now in that marketplace, there could be good people, but there could also be bad people, there could also be criminals, there could also be people who wish to harm other human beings, psychopaths. Now when you're doing this in the spiritual world, it is exactly the same thing. When you're saying if there's a spirit come and talk to me, there could be good spirits coming in, but there could also be psychopath spirits coming in. And if it is a psychopath spirit, then whoever the person has called, he's going to destroy the person's life. Why? Because you don't know how to handle, you don't know, you were just doing it for fun, and now that fun thing is going to affect for the rest of your life. So it's very important not to do. And we get a lot of calls that people want to try Ouija board for random reasons, and thanks to the movies and everything, that they think it's fun. But now there are also other movies which show the repercussions of playing with an Ouija board or a Ouija board, whatever it is pronounced. And so yeah, that's how it is. This world, we are not saying it's all harmful, but it is also not all good always. It's pretty much close to how the humans are. Not every human being is bad, or not every human being is good too. So when you are dealing, you have to be prepared for anything that can be coming your way. That's how it works in the spirit world.
And what kind of precaution you take while communicating with them?
We generally, the best thing that we do, especially if you ask me, I kind of go with the intention and the mindset that I'm going to dominate that place. And it is important if you stand in my shoes and see why. Because I kind of deal with spirits and beings that I can't see. I'm not a psychic, so I can't see. So I have to kind of show and make myself believe that I am the most powerful thing here at this place. And only then I can protect myself and the team that is with me right now. So the precaution I take is this particular attitude that, I'm the boss here. I'll ask you a question, you have to answer me. Anything that you try is going to go bad for you. Now, even everyone knows that I cannot do anything with the spirits, but just the mindset and the frequency that I'm radiating there is kind of making the spirits believe that okay, we shouldn't be messing with this guy. And I believe that is the only reason I have survived 10 years investigating this thing. And my ways of investigation are very different. I sometimes go to the extreme of finding the answers, and I believe it is important, considering the field that is so hidden, that is so mysterious. We have to push the limits to find out what the truth is. And that's the only precaution I take. And the only precaution I also know should be taken is that only, just know that you are more powerful, because at the end of the day, you have a soul and a body, while they are just souls. So you anyway have the upper hand of having a body, and maybe that's what puts you in a better position as compared to the spirits. And if everyone takes the same precaution, nothing can harm them, no spirits can harm them.
And what happened when they overpower you?
So I can't say that very honestly, because I've never been overpowered. But what I have heard from my colleagues and all is that if a person who is sensitive and is overpowered by spirits, then the person can be affected emotionally. There could be, if they can start reflecting the emotions of the spirits. If the spirit is
maybe
angry,
they feel suicidal.
Sometimes, yes. But then we have to understand that it's a common misconception that spirits can kill us. They can never do that. It is our action that leads to our death. But yeah, like at the end of the day, like I'm saying, the spirits cannot kill us. That's impossible to do, because understand the energy they hold and understand the energy we hold. They, you won't believe when I say even just to get this replies on the device, after we have asked a question, we have to wait at least 15-20 minutes for them to gather the energy to reply. Can you really think they can kill human beings?
No.
So, it's a misconception that people have fell into, and it is the fear that harms us. So if you are fearing so much something, for example, if this is the house and there's one bachelor guy staying, and something happens and he runs frantically कि अरे मेरे घर में भूत है, he's going to topple down the stairs. He might hit his head somewhere and might die. But what the stories will spread is that house was haunted and spirit killed that guy. So that's how it goes. That's how the stories are built, and that's why investigation is important. That's why that's how we do it. I remember there is this particular particular case that I intervened. It was very close to my house in Bhubaneswar. So just two building छोड़ के, there's this particular building where this recent death happened. It was a gruesome death. what happened was this particular guy fell from the fourth floor and he hit his head on the ground on the road, and is it's very how do I say, it's very uh, sensitive, but his brain particles were on the road. It was so bad,
Yeah.
you know and the entire building, all the families believed that it is a spirit that killed him, that was haunting this place. And then the owner approached me and she was like, beta, I want you to do something, because one is I'm going to lose my tenants, and second thing is I'll never get anyone to go on a rent in my building, so you have to do something. This is my
Yeah.
only source of earning. And she's an old lady, and I was like, I'll do something. So I then go on to investigate, and I during the investigation, Pooja was here in Mumbai, so I did send some photographs to Pooja. And as I'm investigating, I'm getting some replies on my devices. This one particular room, it had this weird EMF, and it's blinking suddenly out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, there is something. But then I asked this question: were you the one that killed this man? And it came no. So I'm like, how did he die? Because everyone is saying that you're dying, and the communication is very close to what we are having right now. It's very similar to communicating with the spirits. And I'm asking, that no, you are the reason he died, because that's what everyone is saying. You have to give me an answer, and I'm triggering and I'm provoking and everything. And meanwhile, Pooja is doing her psychic readings in Bombay, and then she gets back and she says that, Sarba, I am seeing this particular scene like a download that it came to me, that this guy was drunk heavily and he was on his terrace. There is a spirit of an old lady that was kind of, who came in front of him, and the guy was seeing that spirit, and the spirit was coming towards him. It was not trying to scare him, it was not trying to, kill him or anything, but it was just coming towards him. But because of his state of consciousness, that he was drunk and all, he was getting closer to the edge, and as the spirit was getting closer, he couldn't keep his balance and he falls down. So the spirit never killed him. It was his own loose consciousness or loose state of consciousness, because he was drunk and everything, that got him killed. And we feel so sorry for these guys, people who die basically, and they have got this thing, okay, this spirit particular killed him, because people just agree that, okay, this is how he died. No one tries to find out what could have happened, what it leads to, how did this happen. No one tries to find out those answers. But when I was investigating, and when I got this answer from Pooja, reading from Pooja, that this is how it is, and I asked, is this true? And that is when I get the reply, yes, this is how it happened. So are you really bad or good? If you are bad, then give me some sign. And nothing happened. If you are good, then make some sign. I need a knock somewhere. And as I'm standing there, this slight knock happens in one of the rooms. And I ask, can you do it again? And it happens once again. I then again ask, can you do it one more time? And it happens again. Are you bad? Do it again. So we have to cross question to find an answer. And then again, there was no noise. So the spirit was just shouting loudly, that's what I felt, that it is trying so hard to say that she is not bad, but it's the stories and the people who are making her an evil spirit. A lot of these things happen, and it happen very often.
So they don't hurt you intentionally.
A lot of them don't.
Yeah.
For example, like I said, spirits are very close to human beings, and if a human being is bad, then or it does bad things, then it will do bad things even after death. But if a person who does good job or good things for people, it will do good things even after death. Now if a spirit is good, then it will mean no harm to you. In fact, we have come across so many good spirits. I remember this investigation I did in Odisha, where this particular room was closed for more than 30-40 years, and we happened to open it because it was said that there's a particular spirit that is haunting that place, and they have locked it. I said, okay, without opening, how would I know if there's any truth to that? So I opened the room and I kept the EDI device out there, and I was standing there, and you won't believe, Darshan, I had one of the best communications of my life out there. So as I'm asking questions, I'm getting replies like I'm talking to a human being who needs only attention and attention.
Okay.
So I'm just asking, okay, why are you here? Are you stuck here? Yes. Do you mean any harm to the family members? No. Are you trying to give a message? No. Are you ready to leave? Yes. Do you know how to leave? No. So at one point the replies stopped, and I'm like, okay, if you're still here, you have to give me sign, because I have come from a very long way, and I have to wrap up and go back home. So the devices again glows up, and I say, okay, fine, maybe the communication is done and I should leave. And it's a way of saying, actually, to trigger so that what more they could do. And I'm saying, chalo nikalta hu main. So as I'm saying this, I take a turn, and the devices which were blinking like 2 or 3 lights are now blinking 5 lights suddenly.
Okay.
So then I turn back and I ask, okay, do you want me to stay? Yes. Would you like if I go? No. So then I again say, अच्छा ठीक है फिर मैं जाता हूँ. Again I turn back, and again the crew sees 5 lights blinking up. And I'm like, see, I have to, I cannot stay here forever. And I understand, the communication that is happening and all, but I have to leave. So can you just give me a bye and all? And again, everything could happen. You could just see it in your mind that the spirit is not ready to leave you.
Yeah.
And it is so obvious, because after 30 years, someone has come and is trying to understand what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Because all these years, he was just tagged that he's an evil spirit, and he was locked in this particular room by some measure or whatever. And it was one of the most beautiful conversations I had, because I could just feel what the spirit was feeling out there.
Yeah.
It was very amazing. But and also this also kind of answer that it was a good one. But then there are so many other places we have been to where the moment you enter, you know that the place is dangerous.
Yeah.
And the very feeling of feeling that the place is dangerous gives out the sign that the spirits are not very welcoming here, that spirits are not very good here, and they will try to scare you. They will try to do things to scare you. And what are those things? Those things will be doing loud noises or loud bangs in the middle of the room, or toppling things off, or trying to create these noises in our ears and all, just to scare us. But we as investigators, we don't get scared. But for a normal human being, he or she might get scared by this thing. But one thing also I'd like to add is these things of objects falling on its own or other things happening is also a sign of a spirit trying to get your attention. So even that can happen. So the only people who can find out what is actually happening are the paranormal investigators. We cannot conclude for certain what is exactly happening at a place just by feeling the place. That's impossible.
So what worst can they do with you?
The worst they can do is they can emotionally drain you and manipulate.
Okay.
That's the worst I can do, because I have seen personally, for example, Pooja or any other psychic. Pooja is a sensitive, she is an empath, she's a psychic, so she sees things or hears things or feels things that we don't. And sometimes when spirit is really angry and very dominating and very intense, Pooja feels it. And I've seen Pooja just sitting down saying, Sarba, I need 10 minutes because it's very draining, it's draining my energy right now. So they can also drain your energy. And that's the most they can do. But for a human being who is not like Pooja or not like us, who are not meditating, who are not protecting their aura or their auric field, that state of manipulation can lead them to emotional breakdown. They can start crying, they can start getting really angry, they can start insulting people who are around for no reason, and all of this can be done by a spirit. But that's the worst I can do.
So thank you so much, Sarbajeet, for coming here and sharing your experience with us. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. And if you like this video, please like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.